Hey, can everybody hear me okay? Yes? Who's not from UAF? If you could raise your hand. Whoa, okay, I'm going to be talking to you now. I guess the rest of the folks know, or I hope they know, what we're doing. So as you may be aware, you heard about this from Bob McCoy. Even at UAF, the estimate is that there's about on the order of several hundred time series that are being obtained of the Arctic environment and its changes in near real time or with some delay. John Walsh, who is the chief scientist at the International Arctic Research Center that I head, is going to talk to you about some analysis of those time series that we've been doing. But what's most interesting to us, and if I say us now, this includes all of you and others not in a room, right now is how do we better organize ourselves as we keep track of rapid Arctic change? That's the big challenge. There's a lot of people making measurements in various places. A lot of those measurements are not making it to those people who are making decisions that are built on Arctic change, that impact Arctic change, or that in one way or another are actually driven by Arctic change, right? So I'm part of a larger group that is part of an international consortium that came out of the Arctic Council, the so-called Sustaining Arctic Observing Networks initiative, and you see sort of the diagram you see here, and you can read this on your own time. It's basically the big funnel that we're all trying to squeeze through, and that is how do we get from the left-hand side of the diagram where you have a patchwork of observations that are being made, well motivated individually, but not well coordinated just yet. How do we get to that, from that to action? Action that has an impact on the Arctic in the global context, action that allows indigenous peoples and Arctic communities to make the best of the changes that they're being given, and action that engages the research communities and others in providing information that is going to inform prediction, projection, or forecasts. So a lot of us at the International Arctic Research Center, and I actually, we've got a report here that just came out. Heather McFarland is our public relations and communications lead, can explain more about that. At IARC, for short, International Arctic Research Center, we have a lot of researchers who are making observations, but one of the things that we're interested in and have been working on now for a while is how do we get to better co-production of knowledge, co-management of observations and data, and co-design of observing networks. And so the co-design process is something that we've been thinking about a bit. IARC is one of the leads for the Arctic Observing Summit, going to be happening in March, April next year in Iceland. I'd encourage you, if you're interested in observations in the Arctic, come and talk to me more about that. So as part of that process, we're starting to build more of a grassroots effort to bring together people who are knowledgeable about observations, know the science and technology of observations, but also people who are the ones who give us guidance on what are the relevant societal benefits that we want to derive from these observations, what type of decisions are going to have to be supported at the local scale all the way up to the national, international level. And so as part of that effort, we're working on what we call a roadmap for Arctic observing, and we're just in the final stages of getting set up for a project that would help advance this at the national, international scale. So a group of us here, a couple of dozen people from different institutions, including indigenous and tribal organizations, federal agencies, different research universities, research institutes, and others are meeting on Friday to talk a bit more about this specifically. But I would just encourage you and invite you to walk with us as we go from the broad realm of patchwork of observations to the much more focused realm of how are these observations going to benefit us. The University of Alaska in Fairbanks is a great place to explore this. If you're interested in this from a student, postdoc, early career, or decision-maker perspective, please come and talk to us some more. I'll hand it off to John Walsh, IARC Chief Scientist, who's going to talk a bit more about some of what we've been finding in terms of Arctic change in Alaska in particular. Thank you.